The large screen in the United Earth Defense Force Command Center flickered to life. The image that appeared made everyone in the room gasp. The alien was tall with grayish-blue skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. It wore what looked like ceremonial armor with strange symbols etched across its surface. "I am Archon Zakathar of the Galactic Council," the alien said, its voice deep and slightly mechanical through the translation system. "We acknowledge your request for discussion, though there is little to discuss." President Carter stepped forward. Next to him stood Ambassador Daniel Wright, a veteran diplomat chosen for his calm demeanor and quick thinking. "Archon Zakathar, I am Nathan Carter, representing Earth. This is Ambassador Wright. We appreciate your willingness to speak with us." The alien's upper eyes blinked slowly. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. We are here to explain how your transition to Council protection will proceed." Ambassador Wright stepped forward. "Perhaps you could help us understand more about the Council. Your message mentioned 27 species. We're eager to learn about our galactic neighbors." The request seemed to please the Archon. "The Council has existed for 12,000 of your years. We bring order to chaos, peace to conflict. Primitive, species like yours require guidance to avoid self-destruction. And what would this guidance look like for Earth?" asked President Carter. "Your military forces will be disbanded. Council peacekeepers will maintain order. Your technology will be monitored and controlled. Resources will be harvested for the greater good of all Council worlds." The alien's voice remained emotionless. "In return, you will receive medical advances, limited access to space travel, and protection from hostile forces in the galaxy." Wright and Carter exchanged glances. This wasn't an alliance, it was occupation. "How many other species have joined the Council this way?" Wright asked carefully. 17 of our current members were integrated through similar processes. All now prosper under Council direction. The Archon's secondary eyes narrowed. Those who resisted no longer exist. The threat hung in the air between them. "We need time to consider your terms," President Carter said. "Our world has many nations, many leaders. Decisions take time. You have already been given 68 hours. This meeting has not extended your deadline." The Archon seemed to lose interest. "We will expect your surrender signal at the appointed time." The transmission ended abruptly. General Rodriguez punched a nearby table. "They're not even pretending this is anything but conquest." "At least we know what we're dealing with now," President Carter said grimly. "Dr. Bennett, what's your assessment?" "Dr." Olivia Bennett had been studying the visual data from the transmission. She was a brilliant xenobiologist with a gift for understanding alien behavior patterns. Their body language suggests absolute confidence. They have no doubt about their superiority. She pulled up several still images. "But there's something else. Did you notice how the Archon reacted when Ambassador Wright asked about other species? There was a subtle shift in posture. I think there's more to the story of those integrated species." "We need more information," Carter decided. "And we need options." In a secure underground facility, Dr. Eric Wallace worked frantically with his team. The physicist had been developing experimental weapons technology for years, but never expected to be Earth's last hope against alien invaders. "The radiation signature from their ships is unlike anything we've seen," he explained to Admiral Murphy. "But there are patterns, specific frequencies they seem to avoid in their communications." "Could it be a weakness?" Murphy asked. "Possibly. All species evolve with different tolerances. What's harmless to one might be deadly to another." "Doctor," Wallace brought up a complex diagram. "If we could modify our existing weapons to emit this specific frequency." Admiral Murphy nodded. "Do it, whatever resources you need." Meanwhile, Engineer Samantha Lee had been studying the Council's ship movements. She was young for her position but brilliant when it came to defensive systems. "They're using some kind of wormhole technology for near-instantaneous travel," she explained to General Rodriguez. "But look at this pattern when they open these space-time tunnels." She pointed to energy readings from the alien fleet. "There's a predictable energy surge before each jump. If we could somehow use that signature to target them, or better yet, Follow them through their own wormholes. Rodriguez's eyes widened. Could our missiles be modified to track and follow those signatures? Theoretically, yes. We'd need to recalibrate our entire missile defense system, but it's possible. Make it happen, Rodriguez ordered, and keep it quiet. The fewer people who know about this, the better. Major Ryan Foster and his Special Forces team prepared for the most important mission of their lives. They had been chosen for a dangerous covert operation. One of the alien ships is holding position closer to Earth than the others, he told his team. Intelligence suggests it's a scout vessel. If we can get aboard, we might find valuable information about their weaknesses. How do we get to a ship that's in orbit? Asked one of his soldiers. The new stealth shuttle, Foster replied. One trip, in and out, with no one the wiser. The mission was beyond risky, but no one hesitated. Earth's future was at stake. In the diplomatic wing of the UEDF headquarters, Ambassador Wright was meeting with Director Frank Morgan, head of Earth's intelligence network. Morgan was a tall, thin man with a perpetual frown and a mind like a steel trap. We've intercepted some interesting communications, Morgan said quietly. The Council isn't as united as they want us to believe. There are factions, disagreements, about how to handle aggressive species like humans. Can we exploit these divisions? Not in the time we have, but there's something else. Morgan slid a data tablet across the table. We've identified references to another conflict. The Council is fighting someone else, someone they fear, and Earth is in a strategically valuable position for that war. Wright studied the information. So this isn't just about our warlike tendencies. They want Earth as a military outpost. Exactly, and they won't take no for an answer. As the deadline approached, President Carter addressed the world's leaders again. We have 24 hours left, he said solemnly. I've reviewed all options. I've considered what surrender would mean, and I've made a decision. The faces watching him were tense, afraid, but resolute. Humanity will not kneel. We will not surrender our home, our future, or our freedom. His voice grew stronger. Throughout our history, we have faced seemingly insurmountable odds. We have been outgunned, outnumbered, and outmatched, but we have never been outspirited. He looked at each leader in turn. I am authorizing Operation Thunderbolt. General Rodriguez and Admiral Murphy will provide details through secure channels. But know this, if we must fight, we will fight together. For the first time in human history, we stand truly united. The Chinese premier spoke up. The people of Earth have not come this far to become slaves. We stand with you. One by one, the other leaders voiced their agreement. Earth would fight. As the meeting ended, President Carter turned to Admiral Murphy. Now we see if Major Foster's team can give us the edge we need. Above them, the alien ships waited. The clock was ticking down to humanity's answer, and it would not be the one the Council expected. Lieutenant Grace Patterson stared at her monitor in disbelief. The signal patterns were unlike anything she had ever seen before. She had been working the night shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station for 3 years now. But tonight was different. Tonight everything would change. Sir, you need to see this, she called to Captain Scott Holland, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Captain Holland walked over, coffee mug in hand. He was a tall man with graying hair at the temples who had spent 20 years in space before being assigned to the orbital station. What am I looking at, Lieutenant? Multiple objects, sir. Large ones. They just appeared at the edge of our solar system. Grace pointed to the blinking dots on her screen. They weren't there in our last scan 10 minutes ago. Holland's coffee mug froze halfway to his lips. How many? 57 distinct signatures. Biggest one is roughly the size of Manhattan. Holland set down his mug and reached for the communication panel. Get Admiral Murphy on the line now. Admiral Elaine Murphy was awakened by the urgent call at 3:17 a.m. As the commanding officer of the United Earth Defense Force Space Fleet, she was used to being woken for emergencies, but nothing had prepared her for this. How certain are we about this, Captain? She asked, already pulling on her uniform. 100%, Admiral. Dr. Phillips from the xenolinguistics team is analyzing the transmission they're broadcasting. It's definitely not human in origin. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Alert the President and the Joint Chiefs, and Captain, keep this quiet for now. Last thing we need is panic. The Global Communications Center was buzzing with activity when Admiral Murphy arrived. Screens displayed various images of the massive objects now positioned just beyond Pluto's orbit. Scientists and military personnel moved with purposeful urgency. Dr. Kevin Phillips, head of xenolinguistics, waved the Admiral over to his station. He was a short man with kind eyes and nervous hands that never seemed to stop moving. Admiral, we've made progress with the translation. Well, you should hear it yourself. He pressed a button on his console and a deep, strangely accented voice filled the room. People of Earth, we are the Galactic Council, a federation of 27 advanced species united in peace and prosperity. We have observed your planet for many of your years. We have watched your wars, your struggle for resources, your tentative steps into space. The time has come for your integration into the greater galactic community. The room fell silent as the message continued. Your aggressive expansion and warlike tendencies make you unsuitable for independent status. You will surrender your military assets and governmental autonomy. In return, you will receive protection, technology, and a place as a client species. Under our guidance, you have 72 Earth hours to signal your compliance. If you refuse, we will be forced to pacify your planet. This is not a negotiation. Dr. Phillips stopped the recording. It repeats after that. They're broadcasting it on all frequencies. Admiral Murphy's face was grim. They're not asking us to join them. They're demanding we surrender. There's more, Dr. Phillips said, pulling up new data on his screen. We've analyzed their ships. The technology is far beyond ours. Energy readings suggest weapons capabilities that could end all life on Earth if they wanted. Murphy nodded slowly. Get me everything you can on these council ships, weaknesses, communication systems, anything. She turned to her aide and set up an emergency meeting with all Earth's leaders. Everyone needs to hear this. President Nathan Carter of the North American Alliance looked around the virtual conference room at the faces of every major world leader. For once, there were no political games being played. The threat from beyond the stars had united humanity in a way nothing else could. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, as you've all been briefed, we face an unprecedented situation. The Galactic Council, as they call themselves, has given us an ultimatum. Admiral Murphy will update us on what we know. Admiral Murphy stood. The alien fleet remains positioned beyond Pluto. Our best estimates suggest their technology is at least 2 centuries ahead of ours. Their weapons could destroy our planet several times over. President Carter nodded. And our options? Limited, sir. Our Mars and Europa colonies are too small to sustain humanity if Earth is attacked. Our military assets would be no match for theirs in open conflict. The room fell silent as the reality sank in. So they want us to just roll over? The Russian president's voice was sharp with anger. Become their servants? They view us as children, Dr. Phillips added. Their transmission contains subtle linguistic markers suggesting they see us as primitive and dangerous. They don't want partners, they want subjects. What about negotiation? Suggested the European Union Chancellor. We've sent response messages, Dr. Phillips replied. They acknowledge receipt but simply repeat their demand. They're not interested in talking. President Carter leaned forward. What do we know about this council? Who are they? A new voice joined the conversation. Dr. Olivia Bennett, the leading xenobiologist, appeared on screen. We've been analyzing the visual data they included in their transmission. The council appears to consist of species from various evolutionary paths, some insectoid, some reptilian, some we can't even categorize. The interesting thing is that humans are physically similar to one of their member species, which they show as having minimal council status. So they've encountered beings like us before, Murphy noted, and apparently didn't think much of them, added Dr. Bennett. General Heather Rodriguez, head of Strategic Command, spoke up. We need time. If we could delay them, maybe we could find some advantage. Agreed, said President Carter. We should request a virtual meeting with their representatives. At the very least, it buys us time to prepare something. Admiral Murphy looked at the faces around her. And if preparation fails? What then? The Chinese premier spoke softly. Then humanity faces a choice no generation before us has had to make: surrender our freedom or fight a war we cannot win. President Carter's expression was resolute. Dr. Phillips, prepare a message to the Council. Tell them Earth requests a meeting with their representatives to discuss terms. And meanwhile, he looked at General Rodriguez. I want every option on my desk in 6 hours. Every option. As the meeting ended, Admiral Murphy remained in the virtual conference room with President Carter. Do you think we have a chance? She asked quietly. Carter looked tired. I don't know, but I do know that in all of human history, we've never accepted dictated terms from those who threatened us. I don't intend to be the first leader who surrenders humanity's future without a fight. Outside, the night sky looked peaceful. Stars twinkled as they always had. But somewhere out there, alien eyes were watching, waiting for Earth's answer. And humanity had less than 3 days to decide its fate. The stealth shuttle moved silently through space. Its special coating absorbed radar and other detection methods. Inside, Major Ryan Foster and his team of 5 soldiers checked their equipment one last time. Each wore a new type of spacesuit, designed for combat in zero gravity. Remember, we get in, download their data, and get out, Foster said. No heroics. Earth needs this information more than it needs martyrs. The pilot's voice came through their headsets. Approaching target. Their shields have the pattern we expected. Opening in 15 seconds. Foster took a deep breath. Intelligence suggested the alien shields pulsed in a regular pattern, creating brief moments when small objects could pass through. It was their only way onto the scout ship. 10 seconds. 9. 8. The team braced themselves. 3, 2, 1. Go! The shuttle surged forward. For a moment, there was a strange tingling sensation as they passed through the alien shield. Then they were through, approaching the massive hull of the scout ship. Landing zone in sight, the pilot reported. Looks clear. The shuttle touched, down softly on the alien vessel's outer hull. According to their intelligence, this area was rarely monitored. Cutting now, Foster said as he activated a laser tool. The strange metal of the hull glowed red, then parted. We're in. Back on Earth, engineer Samantha Lee worked frantically with her team. Time was running out. The missile modifications were complex, requiring both physical changes and reprogramming. How many do we have ready? General Rodriguez asked as she entered the facility. 37 so far, Samantha replied without looking up from her work. Each one can track the wormhole energy signature now. If they open those space tunnels, our missiles will follow them through. What about Dr. Wallace's radiation modifications, incorporated into all of them? If his theory is correct, the radiation should disrupt their shields and, well, whatever else it might do to them. Rodriguez nodded grimly. Keep going. I want as many ready as possible before the deadline. As the general left, one of Samantha's team members approached her. Do you really think this will work? Their technology is so far beyond ours. Samantha's hands continued to move over the missile components. My grandmother used to tell me stories about her grandfather. He fought in a war where his side had sticks and stones against an enemy with machine guns and tanks. She looked up. They won because they knew the land and fought smarter, not harder. That's what we're doing. Fighting smarter. In the communications center, Dr. Kevin Phillips was studying new transmissions between council ships. They're getting nervous, he told Admiral Murphy. The language patterns show increasing urgency. They expected us to surrender immediately. Good, Murphy said. Let them be nervous. Any word from Foster's team? Nothing yet. They should be radio silent until extraction. Murphy checked the time. 18 hours left until the council's deadline. And our official response to the council? Ready to transmit on your order. It contains all the appropriate diplomatic language about considering their generous offer and needing more time for transition planning. Should buy us a few more hours at least. Send it, Murphy ordered. Every minute counts now. Inside the alien vessel, Foster's team moved carefully through strange corridors. The ship was surprisingly warm and the air had a sweet, spicy smell. They had encountered no crew yet, but their luck couldn't last forever. This way, whispered Sergeant Lisa Diaz, the team's tech specialist. Her scanner was following energy signatures that likely led to the ship's command center. They turned a corner and froze. Two aliens stood with their backs to the humans examining something on a wall display. They were tall, with the same bluish-gray skin as the Archon, but without the elaborate armor. Foster signaled his team to wait. The aliens were blocking their path to the command center. They needed to pass without raising an alarm. Suddenly, one of the aliens turned. Its four eyes widened in shock at the sight of the humans. Before it could react, Diaz fired her tranquilizer gun. The alien dropped silently to the floor. Its companion turned, reaching for something at its belt, but a second shot brought it down too. Drag them in there. Foster pointed to what appeared to be a storage room. And hurry. Someone will miss them soon. With the aliens secured, the team continued to the command center. The door was locked, but Diaz made quick work of the alien technology. I'm in, she said as the door slid open. The command center was empty except for one alien who spun around in surprise. Before it could react, it too was tranquilized. Work fast, Foster ordered as Diaz connected her device to the alien computer. System. Download everything you can. Diaz's fingers flew over her equipment. Their security is complex, but there, I'm in. Downloading now. Foster kept watch at the door. How long? 3 minutes for a complete download. Less if you want just the critical systems data. Get everything. We came this far. We're not cutting corners now. The minutes stretched eternally. Foster's heart pounded as he watched the corridor outside. Any moment he expected alarms to sound. Done, Diaz finally announced. I've got it all. Ship schematics, weapon systems, communication protocols, and something else. Looks like biological data. Time to go, Foster said. Back the way we came. They had almost reached their entry point when alarms began to wail throughout the ship. Strange lights flashed and the alien language echoed from speakers. Move, Foster shouted. Double time. They ran the final stretch, reaching the hull breach just as they heard sounds of pursuit. One by one, they climbed through the hole and back into their shuttle. Foster was last, sealing the breach behind them. Go, he yelled to the pilot. Get us out of here. The shuttle detached from the hull and accelerated away from the alien ship. Behind them, energy weapons began to fire, lighting up space with brilliant colors. Shields holding, the pilot reported, but not for long against that firepower. Just get us to the pulse point, Foster said. Same way we got in. The shuttle raced toward the spot where the alien shield pulsed. Behind them, the weapons fire intensified. 5 seconds to shield pulse, the pilot called out. 4, 3. A blast rocked the shuttle, throwing everyone sideways. Shields down to 20%. Another hit, and we're done. 2, 1, through. The shuttle slipped through the momentary gap in the alien shield. Behind them, the weapons fire stopped as they moved out of range. Foster exhaled slowly. Set course for Earth and tell them we've got the data. In the underground command center, President Carter received the news with relief. Foster's team made it. They have the data. ETA to Earth, 40 minutes. Dr. Bennett couldn't hide her excitement. If they got biological data, we might find more weaknesses we can exploit. Let's hope so, Carter said. Because our official stalling tactics just ran out. The Council is demanding our answer within the hour, not tomorrow as scheduled. Admiral Murphy's face hardened. They must have detected Foster's mission. Which means we go now, General Rodriguez said firmly. Operation Thunderbolt can't wait any longer. Carter looked around the room at the faces of Earth's defenders. Send the order. All units to battle stations. When Foster's team lands, we need that data analyzed immediately. He turned to a communications officer. And connect me to global broadcast. The people of Earth deserve to know what's coming. The mood in the room was tense but determined. The time for planning was over. The time for action had come. Humanity was about to send its answer to the Galactic Council, and it would be written in fire. President Carter stood before the camera, his face grave but determined. His image was being broadcast to every screen on Earth. Billions of people watched, united in fear and hope. Citizens of Earth, he began. 24 hours ago, humanity faced an ultimatum from the Galactic Council. They demanded our surrender. They expected our submission. His voice grew stronger. They were wrong. In homes, offices, shelters, and public squares across the planet, people listened. Throughout our history, humans have fought against those who would take our freedom. Today we face the greatest challenge of our existence. The Council believes their superior technology makes our defeat inevitable. They do not understand what it means to be human. Carter paused, then continued. We will not surrender our world. We will not become slaves. In minutes, Earth will give its answer to the Galactic Council. I ask all citizens to remain in safe locations. If you are not in a shelter, seek one now. Whatever happens in the coming hours, remember this. We stand together. All of us, every nation, every person. For the first time in our troubled history, humanity speaks with one voice. The broadcast ended. A heavy silence fell across the planet. In the command center, Dr. Eric Wallace worked frantically with the data from Foster's mission. His eyes were red from lack of sleep, but excitement filled his voice as he reported to Admiral Murphy. Corday, biological information confirms my theory, he said. The Council species are extremely sensitive to a specific radiation frequency. It disrupts their nervous systems. And humans? Murphy asked. Completely unaffected. It's why they've been so careful to avoid certain energy signatures in their technology. Direct exposure would be devastating to them. Murphy nodded. How many missiles have been modified with this radiation? All of them, Engineer Samantha Lee answered from across the room. Every single missile in Earth's arsenal now carries the radiation payload, and they're all programmed to track the wormhole signatures. Murphy turned to Commander Melissa Grant, the tactical officer in charge of Earth's orbital defense platforms. Status of the defense grid? Grant's fingers moved over her control panel. All platforms online and ready. Submarine fleets in position. Ground-based launchers primed. We're as ready as we'll ever be. And the Council ships? Murphy asked. Colonel. Jack Stevens, head of Missile Command, pointed to the main display. They're moving into attack formation. 4 larger vessels have taken position directly over our major cities. The rest are spread out in a standard containment pattern. At that moment, Technician Ben Martinez looked up from his console. Admiral, incoming transmission from the Council flagship. Put it on screen, Murphy ordered. The large display flickered and Archon Zekthar appeared. The alien looked impatient. Your time has expired, the Archon said without preamble. You're delaying. Tactics are transparent. You will signal your surrender immediately or face consequences. Admiral Murphy stepped forward. This is Admiral Elaine Murphy of the United Earth Defense Force. I am authorized to deliver Earth's response to your ultimatum. The alien's 4 eyes narrowed. Proceed. Murphy took a deep breath. This was the moment everything changed. Throughout our history, we humans have made many mistakes. We have fought wars, destroyed environments, caused suffering. But we have also created art, music, literature. We have cured diseases, explored our world, reached for the stars. We are flawed, but we are free. The Archon made a dismissive gesture. Your philosophical musings are irrelevant. What is your answer? Murphy's voice hardened. Our answer is no. Earth does not surrender. Earth will never surrender. The alien's face contorted with anger. Then you have chosen extinction. Our ships are in position. Your primitive weapons cannot harm us. This defiance is futile. Perhaps, Murphy replied calmly, but it is our choice to make. She nodded to Colonel Stevens, who pressed a button on his console. And one more thing, Archon, Murphy said as the transmission began to end. We're not as primitive as you think. All across the planet, missile silo doors slid open. In the depths of oceans, submarine commanders gave the order to fire. From orbital platforms, rockets ignited. Earth's answer to the Galactic Council erupted from land, sea, and space. In the command center, they watched as thousands of missiles climbed into the sky. The Council ships immediately began defensive measures, energy shields glowing as they prepared to intercept the attack. First wave approaching targets, Colonel Stevens reported. Impact in 30 seconds. On the main screen, they could see the Council ships firing energy weapons, destroying hundreds of missiles before they could reach their targets. But there were too many. Some missiles got through. Impact, someone shouted. The explosions were small, almost disappointing. The Council ships remained intact, their shields holding. No visible damage, Commander Grant said, her voice tense. But then something unexpected happened. The radiation payload released by the exploding missiles began to interact with the alien shields. The shields flickered, energy patterns becoming erratic. "It's working," Dr. Wallace whispered, then louder. "It's working. The radiation is disrupting their shield harmonics." Now the second wave of missiles approached. With the shields weakened, more got through. Real damage began to appear on the Council ships. Sections of hull plating broke away. Energy weapons fell silent. "They're opening wormholes," Samantha Lee shouted, pointing to swirling vortices that appeared near several damaged ships. "They're trying to escape." Colonel Stevens smiled grimly. Too late. The missiles are locked on their wormhole signatures. They watched in awe as missiles changed course, following the retreating alien ships through their own escape routes. Explosions lit up the darkness of space as missiles detonated inside the wormholes, causing chain reactions of energy. The Archon's voice suddenly came through, on all channels no longer calm and superior. "What is this? How is this possible? Your weapons are following us through subspace." Admiral Murphy didn't respond. She watched as the Council fleet fell into chaos. Some ships exploded outright. Others drifted, clearly disabled. A few managed to escape, but not many. Then the submarine fleet surfaced worldwide, launching their missiles in a carefully coordinated second strike. These missiles targeted the few remaining functional Council ships. With their shields already compromised, the aliens had no defense. "Admiral," Commander Grant reported, her voice filled with disbelief. "The Council flagship is attempting to communicate." "Put it through," Murphy ordered. The Archon appeared on screen again, but this time its posture was different. Gone was the arrogant superiority. Its breathing was labored, skin pale. "Stop," it gasped. "The radiation. It is killing my crew." "How did you know?" Murphy stepped forward. "Next time, research your enemies more carefully. We're not the helpless children you thought we were." "We underestimated you," the Archon admitted. "The Council has never. This has never happened before. Tell the remains of your fleet to withdraw from our solar system," Murphy said firmly, "and take this message back to your Council. Earth is not for taking. We will defend our home. We will fight for our freedom. Always." The transmission ended abruptly. On the main display, they watched as the remaining Council ships struggled to open wormholes and retreat. A cheer erupted in the command center. People hugged, cried, laughed. They had done the impossible. Humanity had faced an advanced alien force and won. Admiral Murphy turned to President Carter, who had watched silently throughout the battle. "It worked," she said simply. Carter nodded, his expression a mix of relief and concern. "This time, but they'll be back with more ships and new tactics. This isn't over." "No," Murphy agreed. "But now we have time. And we have their technology." On the screen, the last of the Council ships disappeared into wormholes. Earth had just announced its presence to the galaxy. Not as a conquered world, not as a client species, but as a force to be reckoned with. The missile barrage had been humanity's response, and the galaxy had heard it loud and clear. 6 months after the battle with the Galactic Council, Earth was a changed planet. The remains of several alien ships now rested in secure facilities around the world. Scientists and engineers worked day and night to understand and adapt the advanced technology. Senator Linda Pearson walked through one such facility, a converted aircraft hangar in Nevada. As the newly appointed head of the Department of Extraterrestrial Affairs, she had access to all alien research projects. Dr. Susan Miller, lead scientist at the facility, guided her through the maze of equipment and personnel. "It's remarkable how quickly we've advanced," Dr. Miller said proudly. "In 6 months, we've made leaps that would normally take decades." They stopped before a large piece of alien machinery. Engineers swarmed around it like ants, taking measurements and running tests. "Is this part of their wormhole technology?" Senator Pearson asked. Dr. Miller nodded. "The drive system from one of their smaller ships. We've almost figured out how it works. Earth ships with this technology could reach Alpha Centauri in days, not years." "And weapons?" the senator asked quietly. "We've learned a lot from their defensive systems. Our shields are already far more advanced than anything we had before. As for offensive capabilities," she hesitated, "we're proceeding carefully. Some of their weapons could devastate entire continents." Senator Pearson nodded soberly. "The council will return. We need to be ready." "Speaking of which," Dr. Miller changed the subject. "Commander Wright wants to show you the Defiance." They left the main hangar and entered a massive underground chamber. Inside floated what appeared to be a ship, but unlike any Earth vessel ever built. It had smooth lines and a dark metallic hull that seemed to absorb light. "Earth's first FTL warship," Dr. Miller announced with pride. "Built with reverse-engineered council technology." Commander Peter Wright stood at attention as they approached. He was young for such an important position, but had distinguished himself during the battle 6 months ago. "Senator Pearson, welcome to the Defiance," he said with a salute. "She'll be ready for her first test flight next week." "Impressive," Pearson said, looking up at the massive ship. "How many more are being built?" 5 currently, with plans for 20 by year's end. Each one incorporates more alien tech as we understand it better. The senator ran her hand along the ship's hull. "And the crew?" "The best pilots, engineers, and soldiers Earth has to offer. All volunteers. Everyone knows what's at stake." Across the Atlantic in a different facility, Admiral Murphy met with Director Frank Morgan. They stood in a communications center, unlike any that had existed before the Council's arrival. "We've detected signals," Morgan said without preamble. "Not Council frequencies, different patterns entirely." Murphy's interest sharpened. "From where?" "A star system about 30 light years away. The translation is rough, but they seem to be—" Morgan paused. "Congratulating us." "What?" Morgan handed her a tablet. "They call themselves the Rylari. According to this, they've been fighting the Council for centuries. They say anyone who stands up to the Council deserves respect." Murphy studied the information. "Are they friendly?" "They're requesting a meeting. They claim to have valuable information about Council weaknesses and future plans. Potential allies," Murphy mused. "Set it up, but keep the location well away from Earth. We're not taking any chances." In Washington, D.C., President Carter met with Ambassador Alan Barnes, Earth's newly appointed representative to non-Council species. "The diplomatic situation is complex," Barnes explained. "The Council hasn't just been conquering worlds. They've been creating a narrative about themselves as benevolent protectors. Our resistance shattered that image." "How many species have reached out to us?" Carter asked. 7 so far. Some want alliances. Others just want information about how we fought back. And there's something else. Barnes pulled up a secure file. "We've been contacted by Council dissidents. Not everyone in their alliance supported the attack on Earth." Carter raised his eyebrows. "Internal divisions we can exploit?" "Exactly. The Council presented a united front, but they're not as unified as they wanted us to believe. Some member species are using our victory to question the Council leadership. Keep those channels open," Carter ordered. "Any potential ally is valuable right now." On the edge of the solar system, the Defiance prepared for its first major voyage. Commander Wright addressed his crew from the bridge. "What we're about to do has never been attempted in human history," he said. We're going to travel faster than light to a star system 30 light years away. We're going to meet aliens who might become our allies against the Council." The crew listened intently, their faces a mixture of excitement and tension. "Some of you have families who worry about you. They wonder why you volunteered for this mission. I want you to know that what we do today isn't just about protecting Earth. It's about securing humanity's place in the galaxy." Wright looked around, at the faces of his crew. "For too long we've looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. Now we know we're not. And we know that not everyone out there is friendly. But today, we take our first real step into that wider universe. Not as conquerors, not as servants, but as equals." A communications officer interrupted. "Commander, message from Earth Command, we are cleared for launch." Wright nodded. "Prepare the wormhole drive. Set coordinates for the Rylari meeting point." The ship hummed with energy as its engines powered. Up on the main screen, a swirling vortex of light began to form. "This is for Earth," Wright said quietly. "Engage." The Defiance surged forward into the wormhole, becoming the first human ship to break the light barrier. Back on Earth, in a secure briefing room, Senator Pearson addressed the United Nations Security Council. "The galaxy has changed forever," she said, "and so has humanity's place in it. We know the Council will return, possibly with a larger force, but we will be ready." She brought up a holographic display showing Earth's new defense systems and the growing fleet of FTL ships. "In just 6 months, we've adapted alien technology to our needs. In a year, we'll be even stronger. And we're not alone anymore. Other species who have suffered under Council rule are reaching out to us." One of the delegates raised a hand. "And if the Council offers peace this time, real peace, not surrender?" Pearson's expression was serious. "Then we'll consider it carefully. Earth doesn't want war, but we won't accept any terms that threaten our independence or dignity." She looked around the room at the representatives of Earth's nations. "For thousands of years we fought each other over land, resources, ideology. Now we face something bigger than our old divisions. The Galactic Council thought we would be easy prey. They thought we would surrender, rather than fight. They were wrong." The room was silent as her words sank in. Humanity answered their ultimatum with defiance, and now the galaxy knows. Earth is not for taking. Far away, beyond the reach of Earth's most powerful telescopes, a massive fleet gathered. Council ships, far more numerous than those that had attacked Earth, prepared for war. The Archon stood before the Council assembly, its voice filled with rage. "The humans must be punished for their defiance. No species has ever dared to stand against us and survive." But among the Council members, doubts had grown. One representative stood. "The humans defeated our best ships with primitive technology. Now they have our technology. Is this war wise?" Another spoke up. "And they are not alone. The Rylari have reached out to them. Others will follow. Perhaps we should reconsider." The Archon's fury was visible. "Cowardice. The humans must be destroyed before they become a greater threat." The debate raged on. The once unified Council now divided over the fate of a small blue planet and its defiant inhabitants. And on that planet, humanity prepared, not just for war, but for its new place among the stars. Earth had answered the Council's demand for surrender with missiles. Its next answer would be written among the stars themselves. The future of humanity had begun.